Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the High Frequency Kicks podcast, available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hang on, can we clap sync quick?
Sure can.
Okay, go for it. Okay, I'm good.
I don't know.
Am I supposed to do that too? Is it
You don't
okay.
need to. No.
Oh, okay.
That was
I thought it was like a group event.
I feel like that was our opening. We should just go from there.
that was
Yeah.
like the full clap for a Maroon 5 concert right there.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, this is a special episode of our podcast, both our podcasts, because we're going to do this is going to be a conversation with the two of us and Sean and Todd, who I'm not sure if this is going to. On my screen, I'm pointing at Sean,
Right.
and now I'm pointing at Todd.
I'm on top of you, Thomas. Unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm on top
Done.
of Thomas too.
Oh God.
So as am I.
Gone all over again.
Hello.
Like the Brady Bunch.
Okay, so we're gonna have we're gonna split this up into we're gonna do like a crossover type event here. We're gonna have half this conversation is gonna be here on our podcast on the High Frequency Kicks, and then for the second half of the conversation, it's actually going to be on Sean and Todd's podcast. Which gents, why don't you briefly tell us what your podcast and where to find it? And all
Go,
that
Todd.
jazz.
Go, Todd.
Oh, me?
Yeah. What's our podcast about?
Oh my God. It's like a Seinfeld episode. It's about nothing really, until we just start talking about something, and then it just kind of trails off into a subject. Or so most of the time, it's not really scripted. A lot of times when we talk to other people, we kind of trying to get into the kind of questions and stuff that normal people don't normally ask, because I'll usually ask, about if it's a band, they ask them where they've been playing and all this other stuff, but we kind of get into the nitty gritty, into the personal side of it.
How do you shave your head?
Yeah, well, actually, that was brought up
Last episode.
on one episode. Yeah,
Multiple episodes.
yeah, just weird stuff.
It was called the Sean Geek and the FastFrett Podcast. So that's me and Todd, respectively.
Where can they find it?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But also at seanmcginity.ca.
SeanMcginity.
.ca.
Excellent. Cool. I mean, I've known Sean, I've known you since 2008, 2007, somewhere around there. That we've been friends, and then obviously I met your brother through you. It's
Well,
kinda-
I've been friends with Sean for 45 minutes.
yeah, because technical
Best
difficulties have
Best
again
friendship
delayed us.
ever. Like I think it actually it's more solid than my friendship with Thomas at the moment. I don't know.
That's fair.
You're a disappointment, Thomas.
See, that's what I like about your show. You always take shots at Thomas. Like,
Well, it's
it's
it's too easy. It's low hanging fruit.
God.
The next time, Sam, can you come on our show? Just you? Maybe?
Yeah. It'll be a better energy.
I'm just kidding, Thomas. I love you. You know that. You're my little brother.
Also, you're also fair to have just Sam on your show rather than me. Like that would actually probably be a better episode. But
I am a fan of Seinfeld.
yeah.
Todd,
Anywho,
we need a baseline for our show, Todd.
We need a what?
A baseline for our show. The
Oh yeah.
boom, ba-doo, boom.
Oh, boom, ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum. Yeah. No, I don't.
Anyway.
Can't play that.
Let's stop taking over this show here.
Okay.
oh no worries. We didn't really have we don't have structure either to this. We go in with a vague idea and just kind of roll with it, and sometimes we stick on topic.
Yep.
That's basically what we got. All I really had today for this episode was I kind of wanted to put the idea of talking with people who aren't martial artists, like Sam and myself. Like, we've been in martial arts majority of our lives. and so might be, I guess, disconnected from the perceptions and conceptions from people who are not in martial arts. And so I want to have a conversation and just kind of just shoot questions back and forth, and you guys can ask us questions about, if you have an idea of something like, this is how I perceive things in martial arts, tell me about this, or I have a question about this, or whatever. Any questions you have about martial arts that you want to ask us, you can throw those at us, and then vice versa. We can throw questions to you guys about, things that we do. How do you perceive this? What do you think of this? What are your views on certain things that we do that maybe, we see ourselves one way. And we want to know what you think.
I see myself as awesome. Just kidding.
I imagine, Sam.
She's very confident, isn't she? You're a very confident person.
So here's the thing.
Now that come from martial arts?
Yes.
And from watching a lot of Xena.
I watch a lot of Xena.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
That actually made you cooler. Sorry.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not like you're watching like Ninja Turtles or something.
I will come back to Winnipeg. I will come back there just to fight you for that statement, Sean.
My kids love the turtles, and it's all your fault.
I don't know if you guys, if you guys had questions already. If there's anything you still want to start us off with,
I have a question right away.
Awesome, let's go.
So it's in regards to training. So Thomas knows for me that I'm pretty big on training, but not training martial arts, just training physical strength and endurance and stuff like that. And I've been doing that since COVID hit. I've been kind of nonstop in my own little gym in the basement. So I know what my training regimen is, like how I look at it, and I do it not just to be better, like stronger physically, but to be stronger mentally. And that's always been my workout regimen. So when I watch your training videos that you have on Instagram and stuff, I'm just wondering, like, when I'm pushing through something in a workout that I do, how does that equate when you're doing your katas or that sort of thing? Like, is there a point where you're kind of pushing through and pushing yourself past your level to kind of get above your plateau to a next level? Like, how does that actually work in martial arts? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like the exact same way. I honestly like for me, the katas, the katas and forms are that's kind of my mellow time for me. Like, it should still be exercise, especially a lot of leg work, because doing proper forms and stances and such. But for me, doing forms particularly is very meditative and for lack of a better term, zen. Just recentering myself. But yeah, there's definitely a point to, like, especially with like some of our tests, and we do belt tests, like, sometimes we have to do our forms after being physically exhausted.
Okay.
So I don't know, Sam.
Yeah, I kind of knew what you were going to answer because I know you well enough. I'm curious what Sam would have to say on this.
Can you like ask the question again? So, like, I feel like there's a lot of elements flying around there, and I was like, whoa.
Okay, so when you're like, I don't know if you train the same way Thomas does. Like, I've seen enough training videos of Thomas that I seem like a stalker or something. But like with your training, like, are you approaching it from a kind of a spiritual way when you're doing it, or are you kind of approaching it from this is work, I'm training my body to be stronger, to be tougher, to have more endurance? Or is it more, are you kind of hitting a level in your training that it's beyond the physical or the mental? It's like kind of religious or spiritual, or
Well, it's definitely a mix of the two, and learning to work with the mix of the two. So it's very much like, even just in an isolated class, you'll do stuff like like a traditional class. We'll do like a lot of heavy cardio or stuff that you were explaining, and then we'll have to now we'll get into more of the intellectual mental side of it and have to try to like work with all those elements at the same time. Also, the past few years I've also been doing yoga, which has also been kind of like helpful. Like we've had an element of this in the classes, but this has really helped with that, is that it's like using it as a using the workouts and the training as a form of mindfulness training.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, there's all sorts of kind of ways to go about it. I feel like I do all of that at the same time.
That's interesting. Cause yeah, I do like the hard physical training myself, just in the gym with weights and stuff. And I do cardio and all that, but then I'll always like every third week of my workouts, I switch to yoga, and I just do yoga for like a week. And it's like I pushed hard, and now I just have to, I don't know, recenter, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, be one with myself. Like I'm pushing myself to the limit. And now I'm just going to, appreciate the work I put in, I guess.
So one week workout, next week cool down.
Yeah. Well, I do three and then one, but what like do you mix up your yoga? Like, do you do it all the time? Like,
I do it on days that I can't get to the gym, because I prefer to do my martial arts training. Like I do it at home, but I prefer to do it at the gym when I can, just because there's more space and stuff to use and that kind of thing. It's just easier.
You don't want to knock those potted plants down.
Yeah. I'm pretty good, so the plants are safe.
Yeah, I think, like I don't have the benefit of having the gym anymore that you do, Sam, at this exact moment. So I mean, my gym is my garage, which I am converting into my own gym.
Hey, I don't have a garage, so we're even.
We're even. Yeah, I bought some mats. I put some mats down. Like I'm not even using the garage, and for the winter, the car's on the driveway. That's my gym. It's not changing.
Yeah.
Unless there's hail coming down and my car is in danger, that's my gym.
Yeah.
So can you explain the difference though? Like from where, like you've got your place you go to, and that's where you're like, that's where you get your game on. But what's it like working out in a garage? Is it more just you? It's not how pretty or how cool or how shiny the floors are. It's just like, this is just me, and this, like, how is it different than working from the gym?
Yes and no. I mean, it's not as pretty. I mean, it's my garage. So I mean, but like my wife uses it as well, and like we did this together as a joint decision of like we're turning the garage into a gym space for us, but also because I am looking at starting my own teaching and starting these things, and I want my own place to train. And so we didn't buy just like Walmart mats. We bought, like, not to dish Walmart, but
let's diss Walmart.
But
unless they want to sponsor your show.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor, I'll do this again. If you want to sponsor us, I'll say anything you want. Like, give me money. But
turtles.
Yeah, but like I bought thick 1 inch thick proper gym mats to put down there. We've got some workout gear that's hanging up in there, and so we're making it a really nice space. And so for me, using it, I'm treating it like the gym that I grew up in. So and it's also like when I was the one responsible for cleaning the gym, I do all that stuff again. So I have to sweep and mop the floors again every couple of days. And so I treat it the same way though. So it's the same. So when I go in there, the same mindset takes effect. So I don't have like the flags on the wall yet, which I will eventually once I can find some flags. But so I mean, I go in there, and that's I can't find a better word other than reverence, right? But like, this is my gym now. This is my dojang. I don't, it's my garage, but that's what it is to me. So I treat it with the same respect.
Did not. Okay, remember the movie Step Brothers?
Yep.
Okay, remember, did they not set up their karate dojo in the garage?
I don't remember the garage.
I feel like they
Yeah, I
went
don't
in the
remember.
garage at some point to do karate, and they kicked was it a pumpkin? Okay, this is what this is reminding me of.
Okay,
So
this
It's been a while. I
No.
saw that movie like once when it came out.
The movie's awesome.
So
Hope that
what's the
answers your
difference?
question.
Now you call it a do. What did you call it?
Dojang
Dojang. What's the difference between a dojang and a dojo?
language.
Is it a dialect thing?
Korean versus Japanese.
Okay, so
Dojo is Japanese.
right.
And it's more commonly known because everyone knows karate. Dojang is Korean because Taekwondo is Korean.
Ah, okay. Because I'd
That's
never
it.
heard that term before.
Yeah, most
Okay.
people just use the word dojo.
and gi.
And gi, which we don't use either. Use dobok.
Interesting. What's it called?
Now, how
A dough block?
Dobok.
Dough block.
Dobok. So yeah, like we don't use the Japanese words because our martial arts base, our foundations is all in Taekwondo. So we use the Korean terms. It's not, yeah, I guess it's kind of disrespectful if we were to use the word dojo just because it's not correct.
Like in this specific context, it would just sound a little ignorant. That's all.
Yeah.
but
like-
but yeah.
I say dojo to other people sometimes because it's just faster to get by the conversation and not have to explain what a dojang is.
Now I feel like an ass.
No, but this thing, but like you don't know. Like I don't. I
didn't
never
know.
fault
Like,
someone
I
else.
literally
Like,
had no idea.
I mean, every person, myself included, walks into the school the first time. They're like, "Oh, I'm here at the dojo," and we have to always be like, "No, it's dojang. This is Korean."
Yeah.
And we never hold it against someone, like, because karate is the one that got popularized, and so everyone knows the Japanese words.
Okay, so this brings up another question. So I know you have, Sam, do you have that fascination with Japanese culture that like Thomas does? Like, because Thomas is
No.
extreme with it.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I like sushi.
Awesome.
But I'm not like, I don't know. I'm just not into really, and like I'll train sometimes I'll do like karate training or seminars, that kind of thing. But that's
Mhm.
as deep
That's about it.
into it as I'll get.
So Thomas, what's the fascination with Japanese culture then if you're doing Taekwondo?
Because he's just a white guy
Yeah.
in North America.
Hey.
It's just
hey.
like a thing. You're predisposed to loving Japanese culture.
Hey, I'm Métis.
Oh, he's whipping out the Métis card.
Sure am.
And what martial arts do they do?
I actually have
Culture.
asked,
Métis? I don't know.
dude. They're part Native and part French. Like they don't know.
Hang
Oh,
on.
okay.
My boyfriend's part Métis. Wait, what martial arts do you know? He doesn't know any martial arts.
Okay,
Well, there's probably a fighting style. I'm sure maybe it's just
I know that I have actually looked into it because it's actually is briefly because it's hard to because unfortunately a lot of indigenous knowledge is lost for reasons that are beyond this podcast. But I do know there were indigenous fighting styles and weapons and
for sure,
things that I would love to learn more about, but they are
would
hard
be
to come by.
cool to look into. I'm
Yes.
gonna start asking around because now I'm really fascinated.
Yeah. But to answer your question, the Japanese part specifically is probably just because I am like a borderline weeb and love anime.
What's a weeb?
The less you know, the better.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm saving you, trust me. No,
That's like
Actually-
you bringing a
actually-
guy from like Steinbach a weed.
I actually had this conversation with a friend of
Like,
mine about how to.
Like, what's going on here? You're just making
That's
fun
true.
of all the weebs in Steinbach.
I actually did have not that kind of weeb. I did have that discussion actually with some friends a couple months ago about how to define a weeb versus someone like myself, and the difference is in knowledge set. The typical weeb is like the guy that's like super into anime, which I am, but it takes the anime things that they see and just translates that into this is Japanese life and this is Japanese culture and like randomly throws Japanese words into their dialect that they learned from anime, and
Yeah, I gotcha.
just gets way too into anime being Japanese life and culture and whatever, versus myself, was like, I'm actually genuinely interested in the topic. I find the history and the culture and the philosophy and the theology very, very interesting.
Sure. It is cool.
And so when I learned about it, I actually learned about it. Like, I actually took courses. I actually took a minor degree in Asian studies. I genuinely know what I'm talking about like 80% of the time.
Sam, is that
And
right? Sam, is that right?
Have you ever been to Japan, Thomas?
I am saving up. I actually was.
Oh, you're saving up.
I almost gave you a finger.
Todd, help me stir the pot here. Come on, let's go.
No, I haven't been to Japan yet.
It doesn't sound like you're a fan.
I haven't because it's expensive, but I was part of when I was in college. I was going to do there's a program where I would have spent a year in Japan doing my studies there, and I just didn't because I changed schools. But
you thought about going once.
I'm gonna come back to Winnipeg just to spar you.
I spent 2 years back and forth in Steinbach learning about the weebs.
Again, very, very different weebs. I've got some of them in my family too.
Get into the culture,
yeah,
and understand what it's like to be a weeb, and
God, now I'm just thinking about it. Sorry, I just got like it's just a stupid joke of like a weeb.
Help myself, I'm sorry.
No, I just got like a weeb is like the idea in my head right now. It's just,
are they wobbling?
Yeah. Probably the actual fascination with the culture in general. I don't really know. Being in martial arts since I was so young, and I mean, I just like the history of it and spent time looking at it, and even as an adult, like just the actual history and tradition and ritual of martial arts, which borrows from Asian cultures, and then Asian cultures also borrowed from martial arts, and it was a cyclical cycle. So they're both separate in their own ways, but they're also borrowed to and from each other. And just learning about that just got me really interested in it, and especially with being in martial arts to that degree, it just became something that I was super into because I was already in martial arts. I was hip deep in martial arts and figured to just go the rest of the way. So
hip deep, that's like neck deep on me.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep.
Compared. Yeah. Well, how tall are you?
Me?
Thomas, yeah.
6'4".
6'4". And Sam?
I didn't realize you were that tall. I'm 5'2".
5'2"?
Hang on. I tell people I'm 5'2". I'm actually 5'1 3/4. But don't tell anybody.
Well,
I'm gonna take my left foot and hit you on the right side of the face. So when you guys are working out, I mean, you can't be muscle bound because you wouldn't be able to move. And obviously you guys do a lot of cardio because, you know, you guys are just, it's a constant movements and whatnot. So what percentage of cardio do you do versus actual weights themselves, or do you just not do any weights at all?
I do weights. I do weight training. And then also sometimes like add weights into the martial arts training, or like with when we're doing the kata and stuff.
Oh wait, so how would you do that? That's interesting.
So like, okay, so like if you're, you know, a lot of it takes, like everything's just in a fist now.
Yep.
So you're holding your weight in your inner fist, and you're just using your hands as a fist. So you're holding your weights. Alternatively, wrist weights or ankle weights, stuff like that.
Okay, that's
kind of like a baseball player warming up in the dugout with all the baseball bats.
Yeah, exactly the same.
The weights.
Or they'll put weights on the end of their bats. Yeah. That's cool. I've never actually seen that before. So that's actually interesting.
I almost exclusively do. Like I do very little cardio these days. Most of my training.
He's snoring so loud.
My dog's snoring really loud and having a dream.
Who's having a dream? Oh, awesome.
He's like twitching, and I'm like, I hope this isn't on the mic.
No, I don't think
I couldn't hear
the audio. I wish
okay,
it was,
good,
because I'd like to hear this.
It's
but no.
it's like okay, sorry, Thomas.
No, that's fine. That was a worthwhile distraction. No, like most of my training, like, I don't do very much cardio anymore these days. I still try to keep up with my cardio because it's important. Sam's losing her mind.
That's awesome.
Is he farting now?
You can kind of see his leg twitching. But
Kind of
almost.
see it.
His
No.
leg was like,
I thought it was just never mind.
sorry. I'm sorry.
You're
I
good.
have a dog and she's a beagle, and in her dream she's howling. She's doing like the beagle howl.
Oh,
In
geez.
the middle of the night, it's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
But yeah, like I did cardio a lot when I was doing tournaments all the time, and I was part of the tournament circuit because I mean, there you have, and you have 2 to 3 rounds. Each round is a minute to 2 minutes, and you have to make the best of those times. So like, I had amazing cardio back then.
What's the cardio training like? Is it just doing katas, or is it like actual like wind sprints or something, or
Like drills? It's like you're drilling those key movements you're wanting to do during the sparring.
Yeah.
If it's for training specifically for a tournament situation, then you're like, you're just like constantly drilling like those attacks.
Combos and counters and
just
footwork.
repeat.
Yeah. One of my old coach's favorite exercises to have us do was you do it for like however many seconds on and however many second break, but like 45 seconds on or whatever. And it was jump, squat, land down. Yeah, so jump up, land, squat down into a push-up position, do a push-up, switch over into on your back, do a sit-up, stand up, double roundhouse, start again, and just as fast as you can, go for the whole time.
Wow.
That sounds awful.
Now
you never had Kate as a coach, did you?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like way back in the day, but I was scared of that lady.
Yeah.
So are you guys UFC fans at all?
I don't.
Or is that just like a whole different?
I have watched a few online, but like I don't, because you need to like special order it or something, right? You have to like
pay-per-view. I mean, you can watch it online. There's links that you can watch. But...
Like I have watched the odd few like on YouTube after the fact, like after it's happened. So like, but I'm not. I don't follow it or anything.
Because when you watch boxing, for example, okay, and these guys are in the ring, I mean, from beginning to end, they're enemies. For some reason, and I thought that's the way UFC would be, but it's surprising when you watch it, the amount of respect that they have for each other. Mm-hmm. It seems like no other sport is the same.
Yeah.
No other sport does that. Like they'll come in, they'll touch gloves, they'll tear each other apart. And at the end, they'll, shake hands or give each other a hug and whatnot. And you look at and you're thinking like, what am I watching? Like, this is a whole different thing. It's almost like it flipped it all upside down. It's like, I'm your enemy. It's I'm better than you. And I'm going to, beat you down type thing, where these guys are like, you know what? I've got my skills. You got your skills. Let's try it out. They fight each other. It's almost like guys are playing cards and they're done. And, everything's copacetic most of the time.
I find that culture is very, very, that mindset is very present in a lot of the traditional martial arts. And I know, especially with Taekwondo, like we teach that with our students, and I was taught that specifically as well, that like that's how you conduct yourself. Like this is a tournament. This is just testing your skills, just having a good time. But it's just a match, and like you respect the other guy respects you. And even if they don't respect you, you respect them because you're supposed to. You should, and because I had Kate as my coach, who Sam's already mentioned being afraid of. I was afraid of crossing her, and so like if I didn't give respect, like I'd be running laps for the next year.
I suspect you do the same thing with Sam.
Huh?
Hey,
Well, like, you know, like you're terrified of Sam, and you don't want to piss her off,
yeah, she's an ankle biter.
and yeah. Well, your dog just woke up.
Yeah, I'm very intimidating. Oh no, he wakes up, takes a scan around the room to make sure nothing's involving him. Make sure no one's making a snack without him.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Aware, yeah.
Important.
Yeah. So,
Important
and then he
stuff.
goes back to sleep.
Well, you guys aren't doing anything? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that culture was very present for me in Taekwondo. I've had a lot of matches where, yeah, like I'm not gonna say out for blood, but I mean, like in the match, like I want to win. I want that win for for the tournament, just for myself, for whatever reason. I'm looking for that. I entered the tournament. I'm looking for win.
Do you guys
But
have tournaments with like because you do Taekwondo? Now, is it strictly when you have a tournament, it's just strictly Taekwondo, or is there any mixed at all that you guys do, or is there like categories that they put you guys in at all?
There are mixed style tournaments. I've never done any. Excuse me, but I know that does exist.
Well, I did a different one in the summer online, a virtual one.
Oh,
Virtual
Oh
one.
Yeah.
yeah. But there's no
yeah,
spar.
it was-
Was there sparring in that tournament, Sarah?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just forms, and I believe there was also maybe board breaking. Yeah. So yeah, but that one was, I don't know if it was strictly one hot kendo, but that's what I was doing anyways. I was doing one of our kung fu forms.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they would ever come up with they have VR, the goggles, right? If they would ever come up to a point where the VR goggles would be small enough to be maybe like the size of a set of glasses, and you could put like a suit on that would have all these electrodes or sensors on them, where you could actually virtually kind of fight,
like
I guess.
compete.
Like this would be a futuristic thing.
That'd be
But
you could-
amazing. I'd be down.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing Wii against somebody, but you're kind of not in the same room, but you're kind of doing it that way.
I would do that to fight an AI to practice, but I would still want to fight an actual person.
Well, yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, no, but I mean if the technology was
It'd be
there,
fun. It'd be cool.
and especially if you wanted to learn martial arts and you didn't want to go to the dojang, sorry, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
And if they didn't want to do that, and they want to do, like, say, for yourself, you're going to have people come over, you want to train them. If it got to the point where you could say, you know what, like we're doing with Zoom,
Virtual training.
we could do
Mhm.
martial training. Okay, you got your suit on, I got my suit on. Okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to show you. They've got a screen that has the outline of yourself, and it doesn't really, it shows yourself, but it also shows the movements, maybe more of in a 3D type thing, because you could probably adjust it to where it's almost like a hologram, like an
Yeah.
actual live hologram.
I mean, if there were a way to get like haptic feedback, right? So like if I threw a punch and hit the person, like I could feel that impact, and I could feel, if they grab and pull, and I could feel that motion. That would be
Right.
very, very interesting. Because I mean, there's a lot of applications that you could do with that, as far as being able to take that training one step further. Because there's a lot of, if you go out of sparring and go into practical applications of techniques, there's a lot of things where you have to obviously hold back on training, because you can go to a certain point and do locks and such, but eventually you have to stop, because you'll hurt the person. So if you had an ability to do something where you could go further and actually see the effect and how much effort it takes to actually cause damage without actually causing damage, there'd be very interesting applications.
Because when you train, you've got your tools, and you've got your dummies and stuff. So you could
Mhm.
have the same type of dummies with the sensors on it, where
Yeah.
you could actually fight it, and it could actually tell you, you're weak here, you're stronger here. You get like a sheet after your workout going, well, okay, and I got to work on this and this and this. Because when none of this technology was around, it was just a coach saying, okay, I want you to do this. Okay, you do that. I mean, sure, you do it to your best ability, to the knowledge that you have and the knowledge that the trainer has. But in effect, there's always a minute, even if you did it really well, he says, well, it's like when they're throwing baseballs, okay, and they've got all these sensors on these pitchers, and they they analyze the crap out of it, saying, okay, well, your angle here is off, or you're not getting enough wrist action or whatnot, and they analyze it to death where they can have a whole rap sheet. I'm sure with the martial arts you could do the same thing, and all the different ones, not just Taekwondo or.
I mean, I have seen setups actually, some things of similar stuff, of the camera set up to take 3 images of the person practicing to show them so they can see what they're doing wrong. I have seen that as a thing.
Like they do with movies when they're doing like
exactly that. Yeah.
Sensors,
Yeah.
I have seen certain setups and some teams working on in certain areas, technology with that in mind. It's not that quite to that extent, obviously, where you're putting on goggles and you're in a 3D space, but being able to take a video from multiple angles of a person and create a 3D model and then show them that rendering on a computer and say, okay, this is what you're looking like, this is what we can improve, here's what we want you to look like, is something that I've seen being done. And there's a lot of really cool technology for sport martial arts and for training that's been coming out in the past few years.
Isn't that on the radio? Sorry, on TV they've got that workout thing. It's almost like a mirror, and then it has all the workout equipment attached to it. What's that called? I don't know. It was on TV. Maybe you guys haven't seen it. But I think there's some feedback to where the person can tell what the other person is doing just by the way the weights and everything are going, whether they're they're hunched over too much, or there's something that they kind of, it's like a feedback, but it's kind of like not a real person. They're just kind of analyzing, and then they're just telling you what's going on just by how the computerized sensors are picking everything up.
I haven't seen that, but that sounds really cool.
Well, they had, like, on the Xbox had a My Trainer thing. I mean, it wasn't for martial arts or anything, but it watched your form, like using the Kinect, and it would watch your form to make sure you're doing the squat right or whatever. Yeah. And it actually worked really well. Like, and if your form was off even a little bit, I don't know how the hell it did it, but it knew if you were off, and it would point out your right arm is, adjust your right arm, you're not going high enough. Like, so I mean, the technology's already there. Like, there's got to be a martial arts one out there, something like that. But I know Kinect's gone the way of the dodo, but
I think Nintendo Switch has some cool stuff. I have a recommendation. Let's finish this conversation on your podcast. Yeah, let's do that. So for everyone watching, it's a small portion of our audience. Everyone else listens. So for everyone listening, you can see the rest of this conversation with Sean and Todd. Guys, refresh your memory. Where to find the cat? As my cat gets in the way. Where can we find you?
Let the dog see the cat.
You can find us on all social media at Sean Geek Podcast. You can go to our website, which is seanmcginity.ca. Todd doesn't want his name in any of this stuff. It's kind of weird, but it is called the Sean Geek and FastFrett Podcast. And we have a new logo that has Todd's little scruffy little chin on there. I should put that logo up. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's where you can find us. Thanks for having us. This is actually awesome.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm looking forward to finishing this on your episode, on your podcast.
Thank you for listening to the High Frequency Kicks podcast. Remember to subscribe on your favorite streaming service and give us a like.